What happens when country music's sweetheart finds herself in the middle of a tense debate that quickly gets out of hand? Buckle up, because what went down between Carrie Underwood and the hosts of Today with Jenna and Friends will leave you speechless. Before we dive into the heated exchange, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments below. You'll definitely have plenty to say about this one. It began like any normal morning show appearance. Carrie Underwood stepped onto the set looking radiant as ever, her blonde hair perfectly styled, dressed in a sleek navy blazer that looked both elegant and friendly. The studio buzzed with its usual energy, cameras rolling, lights blazing, and the familiar hum of live television filling the air. Jenna Bush Hager greeted her with her trademark warm smile, gesturing toward the cozy cream-colored couch that had hosted countless celebrities over the years. The other co-hosts settled in, coffee mugs in hand, ready for what they thought would be a light chat about Carrie's new projects, family life, and stories from her latest tour. "Carrie, it's so wonderful to have you back on the show," Jenna began, her tone full of morning show cheer. "You look gorgeous, and we're so excited to talk about everything you've been working on." Carrie smiled politely, crossing her legs and adjusting her seat. There was something a little different about her today, a subtle stiffness in her posture that the seasoned hosts might have noticed. Still, everyone kept up the cheerful energy that morning TV thrives on. "Thanks for having me, Jenna. It's always a pleasure," Carrie replied with her usual poise, though her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. The conversation started smoothly. Tour stories, behind-the-scenes moments, and balancing fame with motherhood. Carrie answered with practiced ease, her responses polished and confident, as expected from someone who'd spent nearly 2 decades under the spotlight. But then one of the co-hosts decided to take things in a direction no one expected. "So, Carrie," the co-host began casually, "there's been a lot of talk lately about artists and their role in social and political issues. Do you think entertainers should use their platforms to speak out on controversial topics?" The studio went quiet. You could almost hear the cameras shifting. Carrie's expression changed slightly. Her trademark smile faltered for just a second before she regained composure. "Well, that's definitely a loaded question," she said, her tone calm but edged. "I think everyone, whether they're famous or not, has the right to their own opinions and to express them." Jenna, sensing things might get uncomfortable, tried to keep the tone light. "Of course, and you've always handled those topics thoughtfully," she said quickly. But another co-host jumped in. "Still, with great influence comes great responsibility, right? When millions of people listen to you, shouldn't you be careful about what message you send?" Carrie's jaw tightened. She leaned forward, her voice calm but firm. "Are you suggesting that I should censor myself based on what people might think? That's a pretty slippery slope, don't you think?" The tension was now thick enough to feel. Producers behind the cameras were starting to look uneasy. This wasn't the easygoing chat they had planned for. "No, not at all," the co-host backtracked quickly. "I just meant there's a balance between personal expression and public influence." "Public responsibility," Carrie repeated, her tone sharpening. "So now it's my job to fit into whatever opinion happens to be popular that day." "Because that's what it sounds like." The atmosphere was growing tense. Jenna tried to jump in again, her voice soft but controlled. "Carrie, I think we all appreciate how carefully you handle these issues. No one's saying you should censor yourself, but Carrie wasn't having it." Her eyes hardened as she turned toward the co-host who'd started the topic. "Let's be honest. You didn't invite me here to talk about my music. You wanted to push me into making a political statement so you could either agree or attack me depending on my answer." The studio froze. Camera operators looked to their director. Crew members exchanged nervous glances. This was live TV. There was no undo button. "That's not true," the co-host said, looking rattled. "We're just having a conversation." "A conversation?" Carrie's voice rose slightly. "Is that what you call it when you corner someone with loaded questions? Because where I come from, we call that something else." Another co-host jumped in, trying to calm things, but only made it worse. "Carrie, maybe you're overreacting a bit. These are valid questions." The word overreacting landed like a spark in dry grass. Carrie's accent grew stronger as her control began to slip. "Overreacting?" she repeated, her voice laced with anger. "So now I'm just an emotional woman who can't handle a question?" Is that what you're saying? Jenna tried desperately to regain control. Let's all take a breath. This was supposed to be a fun, lighthearted chat. Fun and lighthearted? Carrie cut in sharply. There's nothing fun about being ambushed on live TV. You brought me here under false pretenses, and now you're trying to make me look like the problem. Carrie, no one's gaslighting anyone, one of the co-hosts said weakly, but the conviction wasn't there. Carrie stood abruptly, catching the crew off guard as cameras scrambled to follow her. She looked down at the hosts, her voice quieter now, but even more powerful. You know what the sad part is? I've been doing interviews like this for nearly 20 years. I've always tried to be respectful, professional, and honest. And this is what I get. The silence that followed was suffocating. Jenna tried one last time. Carrie, please sit back down. Maybe there's been a misunderstanding. Carrie stared at her for a long moment before shaking her head. A misunderstanding? No, Jenna, I understand perfectly. I understand that this show isn't what it used to be. Maybe television isn't. Or maybe I'm just seeing it clearly now. She began walking toward the edge of the set. The cameras followed automatically. I came here as a guest, as a friend, she continued, her voice steady. Instead, I walked into a setup meant to create drama at my expense. The host sat frozen. Carrie turned back once more. You want to talk about responsibility? Here's what I think. We all have a responsibility to treat each other with decency and honesty, to admit when we've crossed a line. Carrie, that was never our intention, Jenna said softly. Your intention? Carrie repeated. You know what they say about the road paved with good intentions, don't you? The crew winced. They knew this clip would be replayed endlessly online. One co-host tried to apologize. Maybe we did come off too strong. We're sorry. Can we start over? Carrie looked at them carefully. Do you know the difference between a mistake and a pattern? A mistake happens once. A pattern is something you keep doing even when you know better. She paused. This isn't the first time I've felt set up in an interview. But it will be the last. The finality in her tone sent chills through the studio. Please don't let this moment ruin things, Jenna pleaded. We can fix this. Carrie shook her head slowly, a faint, sad smile forming. Some things can't be fixed. Only learned from. She gestured to the cameras and lights. All of this. It's supposed to be about connecting with people, sharing joy. When did it become about creating drama? The hosts were silent. Carrie continued, her voice filled with quiet conviction. I've spent my whole career trying to be someone people could look up to, someone genuine. I've tried to use my platform wisely. If that's not enough, then maybe this just isn't the place for me. She began to walk off. The click of her heels echoed through the studio. The cameras kept rolling, capturing every second as Carrie Underwood left the set, leaving behind stunned hosts, a speechless crew, and millions of viewers witnessing one of the most shocking moments in morning TV history. The cameras lingered on the empty space she'd left behind before cutting away. Well, there you have it. An unforgettable moment that no one saw coming. What do you think? Was Carrie justified in walking out, or did it go too far? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable moments like this one.